ago, I had the honor of speaking.
Sorry about that.
Tonight, as Den, we gather not simply as individuals, but as a community and as a nation, united in the memory, reflection, and resolve. September 11th, 2001 is etched into the soul of our country. More than 2 decades have passed, yet the images, the emotions, and the profound sense of loss remain as vivid as ever. That morning tested the very foundation of who we are. Innocent lives were taken. Families were shattered. And yet, in the midst of the devastation, courage, sacrifice, and service shone through. Our nation was forever changed, but our spirit endured. Tonight, we honor nearly 3,000 lives lost that day. We remember the passengers and workers, the firefighters, police officers, paramedics, and ordinary citizens who acted with extraordinary courage. They ran toward danger when instinct said, "Run away." We also honor those who served in the days, months, and years that followed. From first responders working through the rubble to the men and women in uniform who carried the fight overseas, ensuring such terror would never strike us again. Their sacrifices and those of their families must never be forgotten. What stands out most from that dark day is not only what we lost, but how we responded. Across every city, town, communities rallied. Strangers embraced neighbors. Service became our unifying language. This is the lesson that has carried us forward. That resilience is not just strength of a nation, but the strength of its people. From New York to Tempe, from our armed forces to every local department, resilience is found in the everyday acts of courage, compassion, and commitment to one another. As someone who has worn a uniform for over 35 years, first as a captain in the United States Army, and now as a 2-time police chief, I know that service is not just a duty. It is a calling. It is pride, sacrifice, and purpose lived out daily. As we remember tonight, let us also carry forward the lessons of 9/11. That we are the strongest when we're united. That leadership means standing steady in crisis and lifting others up. That service to community and country is both a privilege and responsibility. The challenges of today, whether global or local, will be met with the same resilience because our nation's strength has always been its people. As we hold our candles tonight, let their light remind us of 2 things: that in darkness, hope endures, and that in loss, unity and service carry us forward. May we never forget the lives that were taken on September 11th. May we honor them not only with remembrance, but with action. By serving with integrity, by leading with compassion, and by building stronger communities and a stronger nation. Thank you, and may God bless the memories of those we lost, our communities, and the United States of America. Now it's my honor to introduce our dedicated fire chief, Chief Daryl Duty.
Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight at the Tempe Healing Field Memorial. Your presence reminds us that remembrance is not passive. It's active, it is communal, and it is sacred. Tonight, we gather to honor the lives of nearly 3,000 souls lost on September 11th, 2001, and those that worked the pile in the days and weeks following. We remember the mothers and fathers, the sons and daughters, the friends and colleagues whose lives were cut short in an instant. We remember the courage of those aboard Flight 93, the resilience of the survivors, and the heartbreak of those left behind. We remember the heroes, the firefighters, police officers, EMTs, and paramedics. They saved an untold number of lives that day. They climbed stairwells engulfed in smoke. They carried strangers to safety. They literally gave everything they had. I try to carry their legacy with me every day. I know many of you do too. Honoring their service is about living with purpose. It's about choosing service over self-interest. It's about asking every day, what can I do to make my community stronger, safer, and more united? That's why this field of flags matters. Each one represents a life, but together they represent something even greater, the enduring spirit of a nation that refuses to forget. In Tempe, those of us who have chosen public service work every day to improve our community. We take the hard lessons learned following the events of September 11th, 2001 to heart. Whether it be through innovation in emergency response, collaboration across agencies, better communication technology, or through community engagement that turns strangers into neighbors. This is good and noble work, but we cannot do it alone. We need you. Public service isn't a job, it's a calling. Whether you mentor youth, volunteer at a food bank, join a neighborhood watch, or simply check in on a neighbor, you are part of the solution, you are part of their legacy. So tonight, after the sun is set, I ask you to carry this movement forward. Let it shape how you lead, how you serve, how you love. Let it remind you that heroism isn't the realm of a few, it's possible for all. To the fallen, I say, we remember you, we honor you, we will never forget. To the living, I say, join us in service, and together we can build a future worthy of their sacrifice. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Doug Royce with the Tempe Exchange Club. For 6 years, I've tried to get this speaker tonight to come. For 6 years, I've asked Jim Gosnell to come. Well, this year he's here. He's going to tell his story. However, hey Joe, 24 years ago, when the towers went down, Joe was serving 25 years captain with the New York Fire Department. I'm sorry, he's only lieutenant. What is it? He took his unit into the building. It came down on him. He was the last survivor taken from the wreckage of 9/11. Let's give him a big hand. Please, you gotta come back more often, Joe. And please, before you leave, this 9/11 exhibit over here, this is one of the first times it's been to the West. This all came together in just a few days' time when we found out we could get it, and with it comes Joe, and we said, yes, but kind of keep it a secret. So before you leave, walk around that exhibit. So let's give him a big hand, and then Jim's going to come up and tell his story. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do a mic check here. Does this sound good? Check one. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my extreme honor to be here tonight. You've seen a true hero. You've heard from the wonderful mayor. You've seen the honor guard. You've heard from the chief of police. You've heard from the fire department. These are people that every day protect us
They keep us safe. They defend us, and we owe them an incredible gratitude. And another round of applause. So I come tonight to just tell you a little bit about my story. Thank you, Doug, for getting me here. It took him a little while, but he's pretty persistent as usual. So we're here to celebrate the 24th anniversary of the 9/11. I was there across the river that day. This is kind of the Healy Field's pretty amazing. But it's a day we'll never forget. You've heard some of the statistics, so I'll just kind of briefly cover a couple of them. But 4 planes hijacked, 3,000 killed, thousands injured, 2 planes in the Trade Center, 1 plane into the Pentagon, and 1 plane into the fields. And it changed our country. Think about that. We have TSA, we have security. Everything's changed. The critical infrastructure of our country has to be protected now in ways that we never thought about. There's things we think about today that we never thought about before 9/11, and it has forever changed us. So just realize that. Prior to 9/11, I was a captain of the United States Navy. I was flying Tomcats out of Miramar, fighter pilot guy. Went off to test pilot school. I had the opportunity to shoot a bunch of missiles and do fun stuff and fly off aircraft carriers and intercept Russian bombers and barrel roll around them. Yes, we did all those things you see in the movies just to kind of make them happy. And it was a great life, launching off aircraft carriers, living that life. And then as I got a little bit older, they said, hey, Captain, you got to get out of the airplane. We got to let some of the young guys fly. So became a program manager and did some of that kind of stuff and ended up in San Diego, California, at a place called SPAWAR, Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command. Their specialty is obviously space, satellites, all the communication systems that the United States Navy used. They were responsible for making sure they worked. On that day, 9/11, I was in Wayne, New Jersey, and I was running, it's a long name, everything in the government has long names and big acronyms. Multifunctional Information Distribution System Low Volume Terminal, Link 16 Tactical Radio. It's a radio. It encrypts data. It sends data back and forth. So we send all the good guy data back and forth and all the bad guy data back and forth, and they can't read it. Now it's on every airplane we have, all the allies, the Patriot missile batteries that you see, all this kind of stuff. So this was internationally developed, one of the few programs funded by the United States, French, Germany, Italy, and Spain. So it was quite an interesting office to work at, all the different personalities. And we were in Wayne, New Jersey that day because we had a big program review going on. So you might not know where Wayne is. It's about 17 miles west of the Meadowlands. It's 26 miles from the World Trade Center. So on that day, we were busy, started running meetings, and then all of a sudden the cell phones start lighting up like crazy. And people were getting texts, and we knew something was going on. Just chaos, right? Pretty soon, next thing you know, cell phones aren't even working anymore because the whole network's down. It's blocked, right? So what am I going to do? I got about 100 people in a room, so I just kept them going. We continued to run that day through our program team meetings, and I'm not sure they really focused on much, but I couldn't have 100 people running towards New York City. So I grabbed a handful of people and I said, your job is to go back and figure out how am I going to get 100 people back home, because they probably aren't going to be flying. So we went through that day and made it through the day, and just the disbelief and the shock. And after the meeting was over with, we got in our cars and we drove back towards the Meadowlands. Everything was chain linked off, and you could see the smoke. And there was Joe. We didn't know that was Joe, but Joe was out there, and the team of people, right? So, second on the plane, we're giving that. We sat in disbelief, kind of figure out what are we going to do now? What's going to happen next? How could this happen to America? This is the United States of America. How could this happen, right? And what are we going to do about it? And people were stunned. And so I'd already checked out of my hotel, so I slept on the floor that night in somebody else's room. The next day, I made sure everybody was set. Everybody had plans. We grouped people by wherever their geographic region was. We got them cars, and we sent them on their way home. And from there, I proceeded to head south. The only problem was my parents thought I was in the Pentagon when it got hit, because often I would go there, so there was no way to call them. There wasn't anything going on. So but they survived. I remember driving down I-95 freeway, and I said, I got to go to Newark. I got to tell the the rental car company that I'm going to need this car a little bit longer. So I pull up to Newark, and the highway patrol officer's there, and he looks at me and he goes, Captain, you can have that car as long as you want it. So I'm driving down I-95, and there's not very many cars driving south on I-95, but there's a whole bunch of fire trucks driving north on I-95. And I remember getting into Patuxent River, Maryland, which is at the southern tip of Maryland. It's where the Naval Aviation headquarters was, at about 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm kind of driving up. I go, that looks a little interesting. In front of me, I see a machine gun nest, and the guy's armed, and he's got his finger on the gun, the trigger, and I'm thinking, I better stop this car and be very, very good at whatever they want me to do, right? Because the world had changed. So I remember going to work the next day, myself and about 13 people, a bunch of admirals, senior people, and we started asking that question everybody asks. Where are the carriers? Where are the airplanes? How many do we have up? How many can we get up? How fast can we get them someplace? How much ordnance do we have? We've got to be ready. We don't know if we're going today or we're going tomorrow, but we've got to be ready. And that was the whole mindset of what do we have to do to get ready. And then from there, I ended up spending some time down in Norfolk, and another our Space Warfare Command had an office down there, helping out with making sure we had communication shifts. Everybody was ready to go. We didn't know where we were going. We didn't know when, but we knew we would be going, right? And, I think about that day, and you think about all the heroes and the blessings, and it's, you don't forget it. You look at that city, I'll never forget, looking through that chain link fence and seeing that smoke, and just thinking, wow, what happened, right? Let's see, it took me about 10 days before I could get back home to San Diego, California, where I lived. And then we, as I said, I was part of the Space Warfare team, and every day at 6 a.m., we had these secret secure communications. We had Hawaii, 3 a.m. in the morning their time. We had East Coast, we had Europe. Everybody around the world, every day, every system was reported on. Is the system up? Is the system down? Is the system ready to go? What do you need? There was no travel. You parked your car a mile away, you walked in, you got searched. But that's the way it was. The world changed that day, right? But everybody was proud that I could do my part. It just, from there we went on to obviously launch the Global War on Terror. We followed after that. I will say this much, if you haven't been in New York City in a while, go. Go see that museum. Joe gives tours. Connect with him, get a private tour. Go there and see the museum. Go look at the walls. See the fountains. Every time I go there, I pray for those people. I think of the people. I think of the loss. And I think of the courage and how many people did everything they could that day to save people. It's America. We come together. When the times are tough, don't ever count us out. I want to think about a few things we had there. We had all the fire departments, the police, we had everybody there, but everybody's sitting for your TV, you're watching what's going to happen next. What do we do, right? You witnessed America in action. You witnessed the greatest country in the world come together, as you heard some of these other speakers. Complete unity. There was no fear. There was no doubt. We were going to win. Absolute guarantee. And I think about stuff like 500,000 people were evacuated. No plan, no year D-Day planning, nothing. Boats came, captains came, small boats came, hand signals came, people came and got. If you realize at Dunkirk it was 338,000 people. This is 500,000 people out of Manhattan in 9 hours, on about 150 different vessels, from big ones to small ones. People took people into their homes, whatever it took. That's America, guys. That's the spirit. Doug wanted me to talk a little bit about work with a company called Viasat here in Tempe Research Park. We've got Sean and Rob here, two of the guys that have designed something I'm going to talk about in a minute. These are fantastic, brilliant engineers, just unbelievable leaders of the company. Very honored they would come out tonight to be here. So Viasat, we've done things that nobody else in the world believes can be done. And these two gentlemen are key designers. We built 3 satellites, spending billions of dollars. They do a terabyte each satellite. I know everybody's enamored with Elon Musk and the Starlink. Like little peanuts, right? We build big stuff. We build stuff that does things, right? We don't just, not little peanuts, right? They fall out of the sky every 30 days. Competition every night. But so these satellites, if they're all in space, you could stream Netflix 24/7 going around the world. We lost our first satellite a couple of years back, and we have an anomaly. We had one of the reflectors didn't work right. But thanks to Rob, to Sean, to many of the other brilliant engineers of ISU, we found a way to
Can we go see the monument or whatever?
written off satellite today. We got over
Oh, can we also get some
75,000
Coney
folks
ice?
on that satellite in Colorado. You can knock us down, and they can't take us down. That's how, if I said it is, that's how it is.
Okay.
The second one Olympics is one global Americans to replace the first one. The third one was the spring of the Asia Pacific region.
Oh, that's cute.
Wi-Fi here 15 years ago, we didn't think about having a connection to Wi-Fi in the airplane. That airplane's got Wi-Fi, and you got unhappy passengers. Every airplane now has
There's names engraved in it. I'll put it. Uh-huh.
I didn't eat dinner yet, but I'm getting dinner coffee. She makes them the best.
Military.
We've got kids from Catherine here, Louis, Phoenix, here,
Never
there's something coming in the future.
full state of
So we're just
Arizona.
fantastic to honor for him. His family comes from generations of
the Pentagon was hit right there.
granddaughters, they're around the world.
Sucks.
Americans gave them the love, the support, the patriotism.
Flight 93, Rose Garden. Actually, not touched.
Great respect for the military.
It's a scale model.
The World War II happened. Just like
Roses are actually the United States flower. See you guys later.